What's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Wait, fix up the music. There we go. What's up, everybody? Say hello in the chat. I see a bunch of you already. So many people today. I'm happy to see it. I hope you're all ready for today's bootcamp. What's up, everybody? Hello. Let me read out the people. Valentina, Skalm, Remix, Warning, Emise, Shinichi, Yulemore, Clara, oh my god, Merrick, Catherine, Sepovic, Rika, Clarissa, what's up, Jägers, Candela, Jana, Glebo, Svetsoslav, Ingza. Oh, so many people. I'm so happy to see you all. Reluka, Banto, Geezer DK, Jade, Iona. That's a lot of people. How many of you all are new? First time on the stream? Put up your hand. If you don't know how, this is how. Put up your hand if you're new on stream. Don't worry, it's fine if you're new, everybody. I'll do everything as I'm supposed to with the introductions and everything. Okay, so if this is your first time, I'll be doing a little bootcamp for you all, which means that we'll be spending the next 1.5 hours instructed, where I'll be trying my best to teach you all. Oh, there's a lot of new people. All right, nice. So I'll be trying my best and hopefully doing a good job teaching you all like the very basics of whatever today's subject is. So today we're doing sculpting in Blender. So today will be like an introduction to how sculpting in Blender works. A lot of new people, that's awesome. Alright, and so like every stream, and I'll say this at the beginning of the stream and I'll say it throughout, if you ever have a question, just write it in the chat. I'm sure if you have a question, a lot of people in the chat are also thinking of the same thing, right? So questions are more than welcome. And my name is Onua and I'm a student here at CADA. So that's the name of our school. And I'm currently in my 4th semester. And if you have questions about the school, that's also more than welcome. Okay, so a lot of new people to the stream. Let's do a different emoji. So how about you guys do this emoji if this is your first time in Blender? So give me a yes emoji or whatever, face blue smiling if this is your first time inside Blender. And I'll go from the very basics, so no need to worry about that. Okay. Forgot your Wacom. That's okay. I think even with just a mouse you should be okay. Okay, a lot of people completely new to Blender, that's okay. Alright, so let's get into it slowly. And if I lose you all at any point, so this is the thing, right? We have some people that have been doing some 3D and some people that are completely new. Okay, so if I ever lose you, just let me know in the chat and I'll go over some stuff again. And if you have some experience before and things are going a bit too slow for you, feel free to like speed ahead, that's completely fine. Make an awesome sculpt by the end of the stream and show me in the chat. Okay? So while I'll be talking about a bunch of stuff, you all can join our Discord as well, because I'll be posting things on there. Hold on. Maybe a good live streamer and try to find that link for you all. So usually I'll be posting the concepts and stuff like that in the Discord, and by the end of the stream we look at what everybody has been doing. So here you go, here's your Discord link. Just did the donut tutorial, I've done a few things but forgot it all. Alright. Usually what I think is a good idea for the sculpting streams is if you've done some kind of basic modeling, like super basic modeling in Blender before, but if you haven't, that's completely okay. So everybody just open up your Blender, get to this point, get ready. I hope you all have it open by now, because I'll slowly be getting into it. So if you see, things are mirrored that way. There's a little mouse icon in the bottom left where you guys can see all the stuff that I'm clicking. Alright. So basic navigation, let's get it out the way. I'll try as quickly as possible to get into the fun stuff, but we do need to get introduced to how all of this 3D stuff works, right? Can you kill the music or turn it down a bit? Yes, of course. Thank you for letting me know. So we'll go a little bit lower on that. How's that, everybody? Is the music volume fine now or a little bit lower? Okay, so basic stuff. Middle mouse to rotate, to orbit around your scene. This is the viewport, and this is basically where everything you do will be visible to you. It's kind of our little sandbox, our little playground. If you hold shift and then click middle mouse, you'll be able to move around, you'll be able to pan. It's good? Alright, nice. Thank you for letting me know. If there's anything else, guys, just let me know. I'm here for you all. That's why I'm here, right? That's why we do it live, so I can kind of accommodate you all. Okay, so shift middle mouse to pan around, middle mouse to orbit around. And you just use these in combination with each other to move around your scene. And then you can scroll on your scroll wheel to scroll in and out. Oh, it's better now? Great. Okay. So just go ahead and like get used to this kind of navigation. In a moment, if you do have a tablet, we'll be using that as well, and I'll go over the controls on that, but that's very simple too. You basically just use your little tablet button instead of the middle mouse. Okay, so you can use the same navigation. But you can't scroll on your mouse or in your little pen, obviously, so you gotta hold control and then click the little mouse button, the little stylus button, and you can zoom in and out. Okay, onwards, this is the viewport. Over here on the right, we have the outliner. This is where all the stuff will be accessible to us in the scene. So if we left click on something, we can select it. Okay? But we can also select stuff outside in the outliner. So if we ever lose something, we can always find it. So if we want to find cube number 832, we can search for it right here. Okay, so if you have a lot of stuff in your scene, you can find it right here. What's up, Abstract? Hello? Okay, down here, we have some more complex sort of stuff inside Blender. And this is all bound to whatever it is that you have selected. Currently, these menus will change. Don't have to worry about that too much. We might get into it during the stream. We'll figure it out. Up here in the top left, you have different layouts, because Blender is sort of like a Swiss army knife of 3D. There's a bunch of different things you can do inside of here. So you have like modeling, sculpting, UV editing, texturing, like painting and all that. So today we'll be doing sculpting, and we might paint our model as well a little bit. Okay, let's get into the concepts a little bit, and we'll slowly get started. We'll just dip our toes into how to use Blender, but first we'll look at the concepts, okay? So, do we have any League players by chance? More specifically, do we have any TFT players in the chat? I used to play it a little bit, but not so much anymore. But I do know that they had some cute little characters in there. So, let me get it ready a little bit. I had this idea. Maybe we should try to recreate some of these characters. I feel like it would be perfect because they're super cute. TFT for you? Yeah. Oh, TF2. TF2 is they have awesome characters too. Used to play League back in the day. Alright, so in TFT, there are these cute little player characters, and they're sort of small and digestible for a single stream. So I think that would be great to sort of tackle, okay? So we have a couple different ones, and maybe we as a stream should pick which one. Alright, so we have, these are the ones that I thought were kind of appropriate. I'll show you all my favorites. So if we can't decide as a stream, I think we'll be doing this one. I think it's really cool. And even cooler, there's a button here called View in 3D, and I'll share all this on the Discord so you guys can get the links and all that. But if you click here, you can get a full turnaround of this little model. So we're trying to recreate it. How does that sound for everybody? Penguin sounds fun? Yeah, Penguin does sound fun, but this little guy, come on, how cute is he? I think we should do this little guy. How do y'all feel about it? Paddlemar is hella cute. I think so too. I think he's pretty cute. Okay, so maybe we can do the penguin and stuff on a different stream. Let's see how it goes. Super cute. Can some soul share the link? You got it, you got it. It's my responsibility as a streamer to be in service for you all. So here you go. Here's the link to the Discord, and I'll be sharing it in there. Good idea. So cute. Great, 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 great. All right. Once worked on a game called Penguin Mania. All right. So maybe we do the penguin on a different stream, huh? This one. All right. Okay. So for the Discord, everybody, there's a chat called, where is it? 3D Bootcamp. There it is. Is it only Blender today or also ZBrush? Today will be only Blender. I do like, personally, I love using ZBrush for my daily driver, for when I do sculpting. But the thing is, for a lot of you all, you won't have a ZBrush license. So I think Blender is also great. And you can sort of use it after the stream too, not have to worry about the license and all that. Okay, so right here, people, you join the Discord, you get the, wait, did I link it twice? Yeah, okay, this little guy. So even, okay, so for the people that are super good at Blender, there's different tiers out here. How cool is that? You can pick a different tier if you're like really far ahead. Let's just go with the basic one for now. Okay, let me get organized. Turtle, penguin, all right. Link to the disk. I should have linked that. Hold up. It should be in the description too, people. So this should be the link. Try to use it. If it doesn't work, let me know. ZBrush Mini running today, better UI, but Blender has more power. Blender does have a lot of power. The thing about Core Mini is that it's actually very limited. Like it starts lagging very quickly and stuff like that. Okay, I'll have this 3D model on my other monitor, but I'll also take a little screenshot of it and have it up on screen. Okay, let's talk general sculpting terms. Okay, everybody? So first things first, when we start sculpting, and this goes for clay, ZBrush, Blender, does not matter. General terms, we go, what are the big shapes and how are we gonna sort of separate our model into those, okay? So do you all have the link to the 3D model? If not, you can look on the screen, but I would really recommend having it because it's super nice to be able to turn that around. Okay, so for this, we start to identify, okay, what is the large shapes, okay? We have a head, a body, and the limbs. Those are sort of our major shapes, okay? So we can start by adding spheres for each of them, and then we can adjust those spheres to fit the shape that we want. Right now we have a cube, and this is where basic modeling would be very nice for you all. But for now, just try to follow along and let me know if stuff goes too fast. 3D model won't load in for some reason, I don't know. Ooh. Okay, so let me take a screenshot for you and I'll just post it, or maybe a couple screenshots. Okay, I should have probably prepared these screenshots in advance. Okay, I'm posting them, so if anyone else can't load the model, I'll be posting some screenshots. Okay, they're up here, you can use those if you want. Alright, so first things first, we want to add a sphere. So we just click the delete keyboard with our cube selected. Boop. There we go. Works fine for you? Okay. Are we also going to rig an idle animation or only model it? So today we'll just be doing the sculpt of it, so maybe color it as well. So no rig or something like that, but you know, feel free to try to get that done after the stream and show me on the Discord too. I love seeing that. Okay, so we can add shapes in here by clicking this little add button up here. You can also use this shortcut called Shift A or click up here. And what we're gonna add is something called a mesh. So we can add a sphere. Wow, and we see a sphere. If we want to manipulate this sphere, we can, using our tools out here to the left. We have a couple different ones. We can move it around. We can scale it by pulling these little handles, or rotate it and scale it. Okay, so we can try to eyeball a basic shape. Let me open up this little model. Okay, so I have this kind of basic shape, but actually So if you have this faceted look, what you can do is right click and click Shade Smooth. So there's a lot of things in this environment where it's just kind of like, for this stream, because we want to get something done by the end of it, I'll just be going over it a little bit. You know, like it's not, you don't need to go into depth with everything for your first time. Just if it looks jagged, right click and click Shade Smooth. That's it. Okay. Now we can go into our sculpting tab. And now we have a little digital piece of clay. All right. So if we kind of look at the above view here, let me post it in. Okay. I think it's just kind of nice to have it up on the screen for the people that are not able to load it or whatever. Okay, so we have our little above view. So what we can do is we can pull our digital clay into sort of the right shape, okay? So we have a bunch of brushes out here on the left. So we have a draw brush, you can just select it, and then F to increase or decrease the draw size. And you won't see that big of an effect right now, but you can kind of see it. And I'll be getting into more of why that is. Actually, let's just do that right now. So the reason why you can't see that well what we're doing is because Blender uses polygons. So 3D mesh is made up of polygons. Wow, so technical. And if you don't have enough of these polygons, you basically can't get the right amount of detail on your mesh, because they're just pulling around these edges and corners. Okay, so when we go into sculpting mode, what we want to do is hit our mesh with a remesh. How's the picture software called? This picture software is called PureRef. Great software, free to use. I do recommend it. Yes, so we're basically gonna subdivide in sort of a sense subdivide, yeah. In the sculpting mode, there's something called remesh up here. So if we click remesh, you'll see that it's sort of tried to take, imagine like a slicer that's just gone from either side and just sliced our mesh into a bunch of different little cubes, okay? Something like that. So now we have a little bit more detail on here and we can start to sculpt. But if we really want a lot of detail, we need to lower our voxel size. So you'd basically lower the size of the grid. And if we remesh here, you can see there's a lot more points now. So if we start drawing on our mesh, we'll get a lot more detail. And we can go back and shade it smooth. So right click, shade smooth. And then we get this mesh with more detail. I've got a completely different set of tools on the left. So it might be that you're still in the layout section. So you got to go up to the top here and go to sculpting. Or it could also be that in the newest version of Blender, your tools are at the bottom. Is that correct? You might have a different set of tools here. I might have not realized that, but I do think they kind of updated this UI a lot in the newest Blender. But it should be the same. You should have a bunch of sort of drawing and moving and clipping tools down here. So look for that. But you know, everything should be the same. You should be able to get through it just as well. So let me know if that was the case, Calm. Or hit T. Yeah. So it could be that you have your tools hidden as well. T to get them out. Alright, so to use the brushes, you just left click and drag. And this is where a tablet is very handy because you can go over the surface with a bit more control. How to remesh? Top right, there's this remesh button. The lower this number is, the higher the amount of detail would be. For now, I would not recommend going lower than this, and we'll probably make it less detailed in just a second, okay? So the lower the number, the more polygons you'll get. Side and bottom, okay. So you just left click on your mesh. If you want to carve in, you can hold down Control and you'll start carving. Double tap the sculpting tab, it could be something like that. So you just click to go out, F to increase or decrease the brush size, and Control to go in, so you can carve and you can add. All right. If you want to smooth something, so right here we have some artifacts from when we remeshed, you can hold down Shift and just go over your surface, okay, and it will smooth it out. The higher density of polygons your mesh is, the more difficult it will be to smooth. Don't need to worry about that too much, you know, it is just a beginner kind of thing, so let's just have fun with it and not worry. Okay, that's the basics of it. You have a bunch of different tools out here, and we'll go over those when we start needing them. So a bunch of different clay brushes. The one we'll be using a lot here in the beginning is the grab brush with a large radius. We can sort of get the base shape for our object. All right. So I'll go back and I'll delete the sphere, go from the beginning, mesh, add UV sphere, right click, shaded smooth, go into sculpting, and now we have a mesh to work with. Make sure that you're modeling in view and not layout. Check top left corner to see which is selected. So there's a bunch of different ones, modeling, sculpting, and so on. Yeah. Sculpting, not modeling. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so in the top right, there's symmetry. So right now what I'm thinking about is, how do we get this main shape on the body? And we see that it is a symmetrical kind of teardrop shape for the shell. If you get lost and you don't know where the floor is, there should be a way to turn that on. So up here, there's this little overlay button and you can turn on the floor. You don't need to, but I just like it because it's easier to orient for me. And you can turn on the symmetry up here as well. And now whenever you put down a brush stroke, it will be applying it to both sides, okay? So you don't get like an uneven, uncontrolled mesh. Okay. So pick the grab brush, and I'm just doing this with a mouse right now. I'm not even using the tablet. For this, it's completely fine. And we can start to pull it into a teardrop shape. Okay. This is easier to do if your mesh is low poly. You can remesh it with 0.1 if you want. The lower the poly mesh, honestly, the better, because you won't get a lot of artifacts. And now would be a good time to look at the model from other angles too. Okay, so I'm looking on the other monitor. I have the 3D view open. Okay, so just thinking about the main shape, there's a lot of details like this rim and stuff that I'm just kind of ignoring for now, because we'll go back and we'll add all that detail. For now, we just want to make sure that we have about the right size and form of everything. It's not too much of the other stuff that we need to think about. We just need to get like somewhat the right. You can almost think of it as a sketch that we'll get back to and we'll fix. So try to get something that's sort of reminiscent of this. You can work on it more or less than I have, it's okay. I can't find symmetry. It should be up here in the top right. Let me know if you're able to find it. It should be up here, next to my picture up here. Whoop. Okay, people. So this was a lot of information, and I just want you to get this out of the way. And once you have it out of the way, if this is all making sense to you, give me a I've done this, hand up in the chat. If it's working for you, if you're sort of getting the gist of all of it, hand up in the chat if it's working. And I'll give people like a couple seconds here to sort of catch up. The tiny stream delay, so great. All right, nice. And if you're still a little bit sort of getting it and you're working on your shell still, that's completely fine. You'll be getting lots of opportunities to catch up. And also remember, this stream is just to introduce you all And I would hope that you will all keep working on your stuff after the stream. That would make me so happy. And keep posting this stuff in the Discord too. How do you show the grid and axes? Alright, so up here in the top, there's a show overlays button. And right next to it, there's a little arrow with a drop down menu. And here you have your floor. You have all your axes. You can turn them on and off at will. I just turn on the floor because it's a little bit easier to orient for me. That's it. So up here, floor. So successfully made a rock. Yeah, it looks like a rock a little bit right now. That's fine, we'll work on all the details. Okay, so let's move on to the other major shape that attaches to this little shell that we made, which is the head. Okay, so we can go back and we could add another sphere if we wanted to with Shift A or in the add menu. But instead of doing that, how do you pan or rotate? I can only zoom in and out. Okay, so if you click this little mouse button, this little button on your cursor, what am I saying? On the pen button, stylus. So that should be your middle mouse. So you can just use that to rotate around. And if you hold Shift and you click it, it's the bottom one I'm clicking. You should be able to pan around. Okay, control middle mouse to zoom in and out. Shift that button, rotate like that. Okay, so I'm just clicking that button. Okay, so instead of doing all that, where we add a new sphere and all that, honestly the quicker way to do it, because right now we're just sculpting and mashing clay around, we can just click Shift D to duplicate this thing. And then you don't want to move it out here to the side or something like that, so Control Z to undo. You can click Shift D and then escape to let go of it, and then you can move it just on the green and then the blue axis, and we can move it up in the right place, and then from here we can start mashing it into the head shape. Forgot the binding to adjust voxel size. Anyone remember? Alright, so R, I guess it is. Yep, so there it is. It's kind of like a visual representation of how high poly your mesh is gonna be. Okay, so you put this clay up there, you go into sculpting. You don't have to be super careful about where you put it, just make sure it's centered. And now we can actually go ahead and use the grab brush to get the right head shape. And again, I'll be looking at my model from all angles on my other screen. You can also go back and scale it up a little bit, because now I actually see that it has to be a lot bigger. The body is actually very tiny compared to our shell here. So you go into sculpting, and then you can use Shift to smooth it a little bit with the move brush, and then you try to get the right shape. Okay, so at this point I'll be taking my keyboard and moving it behind my tablet, because I'll be starting to use that more and more here. So instead of reaching over and hurting my hands, I'll just be doing this. Okay. So for daily driver, I'm very used to ZBrush. So I'll be clicking all the wrong buttons, but that's fine, because it'll slow me down a little bit, and I think that'll be great, so we can all go together and get this thing done and beautiful all at the same time. So if you ever get lost, just type in the chat and I'll be there to help you all. Just want everybody to get through this. It makes me so happy to see a bunch of submissions at the end of it. How to scale up on all axes. So simply, you can click S and then left click S, that's the hotkey. Or if you go on your scale tool, you just click and drag this white ring around here. I would 180 the duplicate sphere. You could, if that matches your shape more. Definitely it is an option. I can also just drag the clay around, you know. At this point we're just playing a little bit, getting the right shape. We don't need to be super accurate. Okay, we'll be getting those chubby cheeks on him a little bit later. For now we just sort of need to estimate. It's also good to look at him from above at this point, because you can kind of see how pointy he is and how long the head is. So you need to get those features. Okay, head might seem very round in the beginning, and it is, but it's also a little bit elongated. So you gotta catch that. And these subtleties do kind of matter for the final product. Okay, let's say this is the head, and does need to be a little bit bigger even. And I might rotate it a little bit too. So I'll just lift up the snout like this. The move brush. That doesn't have to be perfect right now. Okay. So try to get to this point where you have like a little head and a little body. How do I move the second sphere next to the first one? Pinch those cute cheeks. Yeah, we will. Okay, hold up. I'll answer the questions. Another stupid question. Something's weird with the remesh. It's not uniform, which gives it really ugly sculpting. Any hints? It is not uniform, so it might be that you remeshed with a very high density, so a low number. So my advice would probably be remesh with a higher number, so a lower density, kind of like we have here. And then you can smooth it, remesh with a higher density, smooth, and then go on and on. If you give it too high a density right off the bat, it will kind of become a little bit lumpy. I can sculpt the head. The mesh is dark in sculpt mode. You might have clicked one of these buttons up here. Could also be that you somehow added a matte cap or something. And here there's a bunch of different options if you feel like it. Okay, people, hand up if in the chat if you got to this point. If you want to move the second sphere, what you do. So what I did is I click Shift D. I just click Escape to let go of it. And then you can move it by using the tool out here, the Move tool. And then you can just move it like that by dragging the arrows. If you want to, you can also click G and X, or sorry, G and Y, or Z. Okay, hands up in the chat. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Can't sculpt the head. Okay, so you need to be, okay, so it could be something like this where there's a blue highlight on it. So just click it again so it turns orange, go into sculpt mode, and then you should be able to sculpt on it. Alright. Give everybody a second. So you can imagine that the next step is gonna be the little, what are those called? Not arms, is it fins? I'm not sure. Swimmers. My brush only works on the second sphere now. Yeah, so that's definitely on purpose. So you can select one of these at a time and go into the sculpting mode. Later we might make it so we can sculpt on all of them at the same time. But for now we keep them separate so we can sort of adjust the proportions without it being too difficult. Like I did before, I can just scale up or scale down the head depending on what proportions I want to have. Fixed now? Thanks. Alright, great. Let's keep the train going. Let's get it done. How's the speed, by the way, everybody? Are you all like okay with how fast or slow it's going? Okay, so let's make some swimmers. My brush is pointy. So, it might be that you need to use the grab brush. If not, it could be that this fall off thing, that was changed somehow. You can change the fall off here and do like a sharp grab. Let's say we wanted to make some devil horns on this little dude. We could totally do that. Okay, so you just need to go here to the fall off and change it to smooth. Speed is fine? Okay, great. Alright, let's move on to his little loafers here. So same thing, we select the body, Shift D to duplicate it, let go, and now we gotta move it out to the side and we can scale it down a little bit. We could also rotate it if we feel so inclined. Okay, now there's a thing where instead of sculpting the whole thing on the left side and then trying to do the whole thing on the right side and all that, we can use a smart feature. So this is not necessary. I'm just trying to save you all a little bit of a headache. So just duplicate your thing out to the side and try to follow along. So I need to disappear for this trick to work. So there we go. So out here we have modifiers. So if we select our little thing here and we click this wrench icon, we can add a modifier. So modifiers, they can adjust our mesh in really cool ways. And what we want to use right now is the thing called mirror. And it's all the way up here in the top. You can also search for it and pick mirror. So you have a bunch of cool options here. So you can guess what the mirror does. It just picks a plane or a place in your 3D scene and it just duplicates the thing mirrored on the other side. So we can select an object to use as our mirror. Okay, so we can select our little hand here and then we can select our body, and now we have an identical little thing on the other side. Okay, I duplicate with Shift plus D, and then if I want a little bit more control, I just click escape and then it goes back to where it started, and then I can move it out. Alright, so if we go into the sculpting tab now, you will see something amazing. Wow. If we sculpt on one side, the other side also adjusts. And at this point, it might be helpful to turn off the symmetry. So you can just click the little X up here and it will go away. I'll come back again. Yes, exactly like Remix is saying. Select an object and then Shift D. So again, I do recommend using the 3D viewer to check your little ref from all sides and angles. So we need this kind of sort of shape. Let me go check it myself. So you can smooth a bit and move it around. Let's say you got to the point where you're like, oh my god, this turned way too thin. You can use a brush called the inflate brush. So out here on the left, there's an inflate brush, and you can go across your mesh, and then you can inflate it, and then you can smooth it out a little bit too. Okay, and then you can go back to the grab brush. And of course there are hotkeys for all these brushes. I'm just keeping it very simple for today, but if you are a hotkey fiend, feel free to use them and practice them. That's of course a great idea, but it's not strictly necessary for today. So I'm looking from above to and if you're used to drawing and that kind of stuff, you're used to looking at reference, this process will be sort of a little bit intuitive to you in that sense, because you've kind of done something similar before. Of course, not necessary, just helps. Okay, let's say something like that for now. And then if we want to, we can go like I showed before, go to the fall off, and then we can pick a sharp fall off here, and then we can pull out a point if that's what we want. Okay, we can even pull out a second point. So the way you pull depends on the camera angle, so you can find the right angle, and you can sort of pull that way. Okay, go to the inflate, give it a little bit of thickness, and I think that is kind of close. It's not quite there yet, I can see that too, but of course we will get back to it, so that's okay. See if you can get to this kind of stage. Do you have the mirror modifier on now? Yes, I do have it on. You can see it gets reflected. How did the mirror modifier copy the flipper? Okay, so let's do the whole mirror modifier again. Yeah, of course, of course. So again, I'll have to get out of here. So down here on the bottom right, what you have is the menu with all the stuff inside Blender. That's a little bit cool. So if you go to the thing called modifier tab here, which is the little wrench icon, you can add a modifier. Let's just delete the one we have right now. So you click add modifier and then you search for mirror like that. Boop. And now you have a mirror, and with the mirror modifier you can pick the axis, or you can pick an object to mirror it on. So if we pick this body here, it will use the center of the body as the center of the mirror, and this thing will go on the other side. You can sort of imagine if you were to fold this, like it'll go on the other side. So right here in the mirror object, there's a little pipette. You select the pipette and then you select the body. There you go. It should go over to the other side. If you rotated the body or something like that, that might give you problems. You can check on the right side here, there's a little arrow. If you pull it out, you can see all the transformations you've given your object. So if I wanted this to come back to the center of the world, I would have to set the X location to 0. Okay. Don't really need to worry about this unless it's giving you problems, but I'll just do it now. So you can move it, and you can move this flipper, and it'll still mirror on the other side of the body. Alright, and you can see the body doesn't have a modifier, it's only the flipper that has it. Sometimes you need to click twice. When it's orange, it's like the object that you're actually on. Okay, I'll come back. So I'll take a little drink of my water and give people a second to catch up. I know it can be a lot of information the first time you're sort of getting into Blender and all that, but I also hope you can have fun with it and not stress too much. It's not meant to be a masterpiece, it's just meant to be a little bit of fun, and then hopefully you can improve as you go along with it. How do you do the little sharp pinches on the flipper? So the brushes, they all have fall off settings. It's like, in what way do they affect the mesh? Like what kind of edges do they have? So up here there's a fall off, and instead of having it be a smooth grab, you can change it to a sharp grab, and it will pinch it out like that. You might have to remesh for your model to have that work, if you didn't already. There's weird stuff here you can pull out in like a sphere kind of way, spherical way. It's kind of weird. A bunch of different fall offs here. You can play around with those. Smooth is the usual, the normal one. I missed that too. Well, there you go. Let me know if it works. Okay, don't remember to turn your model around in the 3D viewer as well. It does help a lot. So you can kind of get this sort of shape on it. Okay, so let me know in the chat if you've gotten to something. Doesn't have to be perfect, but if it kind of worked for you all and you're sort of getting it and you're able to work on your flipper and it's mirrored and all that. So let's do it one more time in the chat. You guys know the drill at this point. Hand up, hand up. Hand up if you've got to this point. I have. If you're still struggling, that's okay too. Like I said, there's gonna be points where you can catch up. It's fine. You can always keep working as well after the stream. Just keep going and we keep going. Because really the stream is just about getting you all introduced. Alright, great. People having fun too? I hope you guys are having fun. It wouldn't be a great stream without that. You have to have fun. Oh. No stress allowed, only fun. It's okay. If you're a little bit stressed because it's your first time, I totally get that. That's okay too. Okay, so we'll be getting back to those flippers. Super fun. That's great. All right, so let's look at the back flippers. So now that we have these flippers, it makes it very easy for us because we can just Shift D and duplicate those back. Now obviously these flippers, they need a different shape, but we can work on that. So duplicate those back, and then we go into the sculpt mode and we just blast them. Need to grab myself a new mouse with middle button. Yeah, you definitely need that for these kind of 3D softwares, but I do think you probably could. There might be preferences, key map. Oh, I feel like, maybe not. There might be a sort of a navigation scheme where it does not need the middle mouse. So right here, what we can do is we can remesh with a low density. So a higher number means lower density. So we can go like 0.2 or something like that. And then we can actually smooth out the flipper because it's low polygon, so all the detail would get lost. And then we can just go for this new shape back here, and it already has the mirror modifier on and everything. That's nice. Okay, the shape should go a little bit faster for you all because you already set up the modifier and everything. So try to get to that point. You know, honestly, at this point, you can already do so much with the tools that I've showed you all today. There we go. Okay, great. And now we have a little guy. So next up, we add the necks and we add the horns. So there it is. Someone remembered where the layout was. Creative said preferences, input, emulate 3-button mouse. So that is an option if you still want to follow along. Yeah, thank you a lot. How can I remove the mirror modifier? So if you have a mirror modifier somewhere where it shouldn't be, there's a little X up here in the right, and you just click remove modifier. So you select the object in question that you want to remove it from, you go to modifiers, and then there's a little X up here. Okay. Boop. So next up is the neck and the horns and the eyes, of course. And then you guys can just do that a little bit on your own pace. So I'll be doing it too. Doesn't have to be step by step. I think you guys are already a little bit able to do stuff on your own. So I'll just be duplicating the head, putting it in the right place. Don't need to think about it too much, because we'll be getting back to it. Just sort of pull it out to fit. It goes kind of like down here. Okay. And then we add the horns, so the horns need to be mirrored as well. So we can use that to our advantage and just duplicate the old flippers here. Can even rotate them up to give ourselves like a starting point. Oh, I guess the horns go back, never mind. Okay, put them about the right place on the head. Then we go in, sculpt, and we can just start by smoothing it all out. And then we can remesh it. So if your mesh starts to get a little bit weird, you can always hit remesh and it'll fix a lot of the issues. Okay, so we can inflate here. So you can inflate a little bit, hit remesh again. Whoop. Smooth. So you can use all these tools in combination with each other. It'll be very nice. So grab, we can use the grab with the sharp fall off. So you see we're using all the tools together in combination now to get some cool looking horns. So we're just gonna want to get them in the right place, and like everything else, these are things we come back to. It's kind of like with sculpting and with drawing too, for the most part. You don't want to overwork one piece of the model and then like have all the other pieces completely unfinished. Because you know, you don't really know if stuff is supposed to be where it is or is the right size before you have the other things to kind of compare it to, right? So you work on the whole thing at the same time and it gives you like a better result in the end. So a little bit everywhere until you hit the finish line. So I'm just looking at the 3D viewer right now to get like a good reference. I'm looking at the top view, kind of see what that looks like. I guess they're a little bit higher up on the head. So I can go back and move them up a little bit. See how it's very useful that we're working with separate meshes, because we can sort of just move them around as we please. Okay, I think something like that is about right. Now what happened to my music? There's some music. They're also a bit further back on the head. Rotate it up a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty good for my horns. And now, so the only thing I'm missing right now, I think, are the eyes. Well, you also texture it. I will texture it. It depends on if I have the time for it. Depends on, you know, how fast we do go through the stream and all that. So let's add some eyes right now. So instead of duplicating this time, I will add a sphere just because, you know, it's perfectly round to start with. You can put it to the X in the middle here, or no, that doesn't matter actually. Just remember to right click and shade smooth to get that smooth feeling. And then we gotta add the mirror modifier to this thing again. So I hope you guys remember how to do it. You go to the modifier tab, search for mirror, click the mirror object with the pipette, and then select your object that you want to mirror on. So we can take these eyes and just like scale them in a little bit to flatten them. Okay, and now if you see something with your head shape, because these things become easier to judge like the more you sort of work with your concept. So I see that my head shape needs to be adjusted a little bit, so now I go and do that. And this is the advantage of working everywhere at the same time. You start to see things that you wouldn't otherwise see. So we gotta give him a little bit more of a chubby kind of look for the cheeks. And push in the top of his head. Okay. Oops, and then just gotta move the eyes into place. Of course, it can be a little bit hard to place our eyes right now, because, you know, things will change as we start sculpting. Okay. So let's add a little bit more resolution to this mesh so we can kind of start to dig into it. So I'll be selecting my head right now and remeshing it, and it'll become a little bit weird, but I just smooth it. Okay, so I can select my draw brush and I can go in here with control and I can start to dig in it. Very chill vibe, I like it. Thank you very much. I do try to do that. I think it's nice, especially for like a first time when you're just getting introduced to something. So you can dig in with a brush and then you can smooth afterwards as well. And this is the part where knowing hotkeys will be very helpful. So I'm doing all this with the mouse right now, to be honest, so you definitely can do it with a mouse. It's not completely ideal, but it's not impossible. Okay, so now that we have all the base shapes, we really gotta dig in there and find the right shape. So now is the time for kind of really looking at your reference and trying to get those. So you can see I'm looking at the head shape from the side. Especially with these kind of cutesy simplified models, it's very sort of crucial to get that right. Nice, cute shape. Because that's really what their design relies on, right? It's a big part of it. It's just to have that nice, pleasant. So the eyes are throwing me off a little bit here. So let's go in and fix those. Will next week be a live on Retope? What advice would you give on that? So I would say for Retope it will not be in next week, by the way, because next week we'll be doing texturing, not modeling, sorry. But advice I could give on Retope is that you should definitely figure out what it is that you're retopoing for. So don't just retopo mindlessly. Figure out, okay, is it for a game I'm retopoing? Is it for a movie? Like, what is it that you're actually doing it for? And then if you can, you should find examples of stuff that's been retopoed for that thing. So let's say you want to retopo something for the new Call of Duty game. or you should find a model online. I'm sure you can find pictures of what they look like with the polygons on them and try to replicate that. Okay, I think we're getting to something that is sort of cute instead of creepy. So we can say we're happy with this for now, and then we should move on. There's still something a little bit strange about the side view here. I think we need a little bit more volume back here. Maybe a little bit less here. So it's kind of like a push and pull that's completely normal. You sort of move around, you add a little bit, you subtract a little bit, and then in the end it'll be okay. Okay, so now we need to move the horns. So it's great that they're not merged together. Okay, we move on, we move on. How are people doing? Actually, we could add these little spiky things here too. So the way we already know how to do is with the stroke, and then we click sharp, and then we can pull out these little spikes. So let's figure out what direction they kind of go. And I'm looking at the 3D ref again. So they kind of come out this way. So we'll just be doing our best here. It's not going to be perfect in 1 hour, of course not. Okay, let's give our little guy a little bit of a jawline here. If you can call it that. Okay, let's just go with something like that. It's fine for now. Yeah, no worries. Okay. We can sort of add a rim to this little shell here. So let's go into sculpt mode. Now it can be a little bit difficult to see what we're doing, but let's just try. First of all, while we can't see stuff. So we can add a little bit. So we lower it to, let's say, 0.03. It's not it's not an exact science. Just do something that's a bit lower, and we can start to add our little rim here. So let's see where it goes on our 3D ref. It goes above the neck here, and then goes sort of down and around. So that tells us that our shell, maybe it's okay. So we go here. Okay. And then on the butt. Okay. So if you select, you can also select the smooth brush here and lower the strength if you want. So it's not so harsh. And our little turtle is kind of starting to come into shape, which is awesome. It's always nice to, when you can finally see your sculpt coming together, because it's gonna look a little strange for a while. It's completely normal, and it might even look strange again in a little bit, but it's nice when you get those moments and you're like, ah, you know, it's going the right direction. Okay, we can add a little beak to this guy as well. So I'm jumping in between all the things, and you should too. Don't have to follow me like completely one-to-one right now. So I can go in with control and start to carve out. You can do draw sharp if you want a little bit more of like a sharper edge on that. Okay, so let's make sure it looks like a smile and not a frown. I guess that's the most important aspect of this. Okay, it's kind of cute. It's also an important thing to mention, right? When you're sculpting and you're looking at a reference, it's important to consider, okay, well, sure, your eye might see one thing, but really what you should be thinking about is what is it that thing is giving the reference. So the most important thing here is not to match exactly the way the mouth works, but to match the fact that it feels like a slight, cute little smile. Okay, and now we can go in the eye and we can remesh. Like it looked, when I remeshed it got more polygons, like it looked worse. Yeah, so you might have remeshed with a little bit of too high density. And what you need to do is you need to smooth it. So let's say here, I go ahead, I'll answer all the questions, just give me a sec. So if I go ahead in here on this in the eye and I remesh it, okay, it'll start to look like that, okay? But what I do is I just go in with a big brush, so F to increase the size, hold down shift, and then I can just smooth it, okay? So in this case, I turn down my smoothing strength. You can just up it again. Then you can smooth it, okay? And it's very difficult to smooth it because it's so high density. It doesn't need to be that high density. I missed the brush for the rim. So for the rim, I just used a very basic draw brush. Nothing special about that. You could use any kind of brush, really. And I'm sure there are even better brushes than the one I used, but it's just for the demonstration. I just went across the surface like that, being a little bit careful. It's easier if you're using a stylus or pen display. I'm not right now, but I can still get it done, so should be possible. Don't worry about your turtle looking cursed, by the way. It's fine, we'll work it out. And it's your first time, maybe. Or maybe you don't have a lot of experience. That's completely fair, right? That's how we learn, that's how we grow, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm sure seeing it would make me super happy after the stream. So let's keep going, let's finish it up. Let's get it. Okay, so I added some more polygons to the eyes, and now I can sort of sculpt in this little eyelid thing. Okay, I go in with a draw sharp. I'll actually go in with my stylus. Okay, this is a case where this is too high poly to really work with. It doesn't kind of conform nicely. So I'll go from 0.01 to 0.05. So it's going to be a lot less dense than what it just was. And we can go in and draw. So just doing it with the mouse again. Oh my god, this is a little bit difficult. So just try your best to get something that, if you get to this point, you can also use the move brush and sort of move it around a little bit. Of course, there are many ways to do these kind of things, and there are also many easier ways, but this is just all to sort of get you all introduced to the tools. And then as you keep going, you will learn better, smarter ways to do things, all that. We can probably pinch it a little bit to close it together. Okay, and then we can move it a little bit to give it a more pleasant curve. And making cute stuff can be difficult. Because, you know, it's always the border of it looking super creepy or kind of cute, you know? When you go for all those weird proportions and... When I happy laughing at it. Well, we'll see. Nah, it always makes me happy when people like do anything on the stream, right? Because that means they probably learned something. When I add sphere for eye, it kind of connects to the horns when I try to move it. Interesting. So it could be that maybe you were in the edit mode when you added the sphere. Could be that. Just need to make sure you're in object mode when you add anything. Then you add a sphere. Shouldn't really connects to the horns. Yeah, I'll just try to delete it and then make sure you have nothing selected and then just add a sphere. You should be able to move it independently. How did you draw a sharp line in the eye? So it was a little bit challenging because the eye is very, you know, humans are very sensitive to looking at the eye. It kind of gives a lot of expression. So you gotta add a little bit of density to your eye, and then you can go in with the draw sharp, and then you can go ahead and draw. Okay, so it might be easier with a stylus. You can go in and you can sort of draw that. If you want to, you can like pinch it together. There's a pinch brush too. If you want it sharper than that, you can pinch it. Okay. I think, so we don't have too much time, so I would like to at least get a little bit of painting done on this thing. So let's try to do that. So, how are people, by the way? Are you guys ready to do a little bit of painting? You know, you don't have to be finished with your turtle or anything like that, but you can always keep working on it after the stream. So I would recommend just trying to follow along a little bit with the painting on the parts that you do have. So if I go into the horns, if you ever get in this situation where you're in object mode, you can go to sculpt right here. So we can add a little bit of density. Okay, people, hand up in the chat if you're ready for a little bit of painting. I'm not expecting you all to be done, but it's just like, I wanna give you guys the most with the time that I do have, you know? So it would be great if we could do a little bit of painting at least. Could a model like this be rigged and animated? Yes, it could. It would require it to be, yes it could. It could be animated and rigged. You would probably want to remesh it a little bit first. give it some nicer topology and edge and all that, edge flow. All right, great. Let's do a little bit of painting. Okay. So to do painting, let me just remember right, so I'm not saying a bunch of stuff that is slightly untrue. Okay, it looks like we will have to add a material to our object. So I'll just get out of here first. So if you select, just like we added the mirror modifier, now we have to add a material to give our mesh some color. So down here there's a material tab. Okay, so let's just start with the head, click the material tab, and then click new material. And we'll go over all this more in 2 weeks when we do the texturing bootcamp. But for now, just know that it's here. So you add a material, and then for the base color, you click color attribute. Okay, no need to overthink it, just do that for a sec. And then when we go into these views, let's see, should be able to paint, yes. Okay, so add a material, base color, pick color attribute. Okay, that gives us a material, a surface that we can actually paint on. Okay, that's it, and we'll have to do that. So we could call this material turtle. Okay, and we can click the horns, for example, and then just add the turtle material to them, and the body if we want to. Okay, and up here at the top is where you kind of go to the colored views or the rendered views. So there's a couple different ones. There's one with the lights and kind of one with neutral lighting. So you can go up here and change it. So you go into the sculpting, and then there's a paintbrush, and you can start painting. So if it's like black or some weird color, it might just have to update real quick. Okay. So let me know if that worked out for people, if it was understandable. If not, I'll go over it again. That's why we do it live, so don't worry about that. Let's try to pick some colors. You know, the paint job we can do on a couple minutes is not crazy, but hopefully it will add a nice touch. So if you want to change your color, there's color palettes up here. You can also go up here. It's a bunch of brush settings. Just change it up here. So let's select kind of the base color that we want to use. Maybe this kind of green. That was too saturated. It's way too saturated too. Whoa. Might just have to take a couple tries to get something. Can we go over the material again, please? Yes, sure. So I'll get out of here. So out here on the right, where we added the mirror modifier, you select an object, you go down to the very bottom, one above the bottom, there's a tab called material. This one will be empty. You click new material, and then for the base color, you click color attribute. Okay, so this is where you pick the color for your thing, but instead of just picking a color, we want to paint it, so we have to tell Blender that. So you click color attribute. And if you're not keen on coloring right now, feel free to keep working on your meshes too, people. I'll still want to look at them at the end of the stream. Okay, and once you've clicked that, you can go to these views up here, the viewport shading, rendered view, and then you should be able to color. So sculpting, go in with your paintbrush, and you should be able to paint on it. So let me know if that worked. So let's get some major sort of gradients on our thing. Looks like the top goes a little bit more towards yellow. maybe not that much. Oops. So a little bit more green saturated. So I'm just trying to get like those major. You can lower the strength too if you want. That might be useful for these kind of things. Give a little bit more of a dark green. And let me know if how, like if it actually, like if you're able to set up the material and all that. It's no problem at all if we have to go over stuff multiple times. Like this stream is obviously for you all, so I would like for you all to be able to follow me. It stays black. It could be that you need to change over to these views right here, or you might be trying to paint on the select the color though. It might be that, okay, so there's a couple things. You could have a different thing selected and you're trying to paint on another object, so you gotta select the right object to paint on. Okay, it could also be that you're in the wrong view. So it could be that you're inside this view, but you need to go to the right, or one more right up here. Let me get back in here. Did you save the material? I did not save the material. It should just be something I added, and that should be fine. There's not a texture on it right now. We're actually painting the polygons. So if it's black still, it could be because you didn't go, or you need to go on the base color and click color attribute. Select the thing you want to paint on, go to these tabs, and then pick a color that's not black or whatever, paint on it. Let me know if that solved any of your issues. Let me know if you still have issues. I'll be happy to fix them. So right there I need to select the head. And go in with a bit of a darker blue, sort of. Works now, great, great, great. Up my strength a little bit again. Got it, nice, nice, nice. So go into sculpting here, and now we can paint on this little eye too. Or, yep, we gotta add the material, don't forget that. And we can just go here in the drop down and then click turtle. We don't need to make a new material again. Okay, go on with a little bit of a lighter green. So it looks like the top is kind of lit with a more yellowish light. So you go towards yellow to light the top. This is all painting stuff, you know. It doesn't, like, don't have to get too crazy with it. Obviously people spend their entire life becoming painters. So just sort of get something that's okay. I'm not gonna claim to be a master painter myself. Do I have to make a UV map? Not for this kind of painting. Does it allow color pipette? I think it does. Yeah, so if you click your color right here, you can sample. So there's a little pipette here on your palette. So if you really want to pick the right, like, true color, because if you pick with the pipette here, it might pick like a shaded color or whatever. You can go into your viewport shading, top right, and then select flat and attribute, and that'll just show you the flat color of whatever it is you're working with. Let's try to use smear here, and the detail in your painting is gonna be dependent on what your res is of your mesh. So if you get like really weird jagged lines, you might have to up your remesh and make it a little bit more detailed. Okay, let's keep going. This process is not easy by any means, and I'm kind of rushing a little bit, so it's starting to look like he has runny makeup on, which is a little bit funny, but not exactly the intention. Okay. Strength like F for radius, yes, I think it is. Shift F. There absolutely is. Okay. Of course, it could be better. All right, let's just keep it to something like that. So okay. Lower the strength a little bit. Okay, we can move on to the shell. Holding shift blends the color. Nice. Well, there you go. That's a great tip. If you're trying to blend your color, there you go. So let's get a brown. And by the way, whenever there's a little bit of silence in the chat, I hope it's because everybody is super focused. That'd be a great outcome. So you can kind of see in the reference, maybe the top is a little bit more yellow than the bottom. Probably due to the light as well. Okay, texture painting. Oh shit, sculpting, sorry. I'm always super focused. Alright, that's great. Need to add eternal material to this thing too. Okay. Okay, I'll just try to get as much done as possible. Eternal material. And this one goes out to like a yellow tip, which is really cool. It's like an orange, bright orange. Smear it a little bit. All right. PC is starting to give up. Oh no. You can do it. Don't give in, PC. There we go. We got a little bit of a guy here. We could, if you wanted to. So Shift A, where you added the spheres and all that. You can add some lights if you want. If you want to go crazy advanced. You can adjust the intensity of those lights. can also duplicate the one light that's in there already. And we got a little guy. This is fun, nice, I'm glad. So yeah, for the rendering part, we don't have too much time on the stream to get into it, but you can change your render engine out here for the people that might be a little bit more familiar with Blender, and you can render out that way. You can also render with Eevee. So since we're actually above the time that we had today, I'll be encouraging everybody to submit whatever it is that they do have. It's fine if it's not perfect, it's fine if not like completely done. It's just sort of nice to see what everybody has been doing on the stream. So I'll be trying to get like a little screenshot of my dude too. I'll post it. So I usually just recommend people on the stream to take a screenshot, and a nice way to do that is to click this little show overlays button up here, and it will hide everything, and you can just take a screenshot in whatever way you prefer. I think you can even click viewport render image here. That should work too. Yeah, so there's this view and then viewport render image, and then you get a little image. You can go in a little bit closer if you want. View, viewport render image. Got a little picture out that way. So you can also, if you want to adjust sort of the way the light interacts with your object, you can click the turtle material, and then there's a bunch of sliders down here like roughness, so you can make it more matte or more shiny. You can make it look like a little porcelain kind of doll. You could make it metallic if you wanted it to look. So this one looks better with the cycles. You can make it look like a little, let's say like a little metallic kind of keychain or something like that. Oh. Guys, remember to save. Do remember to save. Because if Blender crashes and you don't have a save, it will not autosave for you on crash. If you do have one save, it will pretty much quick save every time Blender crashes. I did not have a save, so I know for a fact that my little turtle has been lost. No, he was a little bit cute and a little bit creepy. God damn it. Oh no. Oh, let me hit the chat with a little bit of crying emoji. Rip turtle in the chat. Rip turtle in the chat. We didn't even get to name him too. How sad is that? No. Rip my little guy. That is a learning experience for all of us. Alright, I hope that doesn't happen to anybody. I went ahead, I took the hit for us all. Remember to save. F in the chat. Yeah. Remember to save, everybody. Rip my little guy. That's okay. That's okay. Extinction event. Oh no. Okay, so as I was saying, screenshot your thing. Throw it up on the Discord. I see submissions already. That's great. That's great. Okay, no spoilers. Okay. So for the people that don't know about the Discord, let me link it one more time, real quick. Okay. There's this channel in here, 3D Bootcamp. Everybody posts their work once they're done. Click on File, Recover Last Session. You know what? Let's see. Usually, my Blender, the ones when I've tried it, if I don't save, it won't be able to recover. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing. It's so sad. In the eyes of an angel. No. Okay, well, that's it. Poor little guy. Wait, let me... Did I screenshot at all? No, I didn't. I did not. I have to take a picture from the stream. Okay, I took a picture of the stream. So let me post them. I'm gonna say my little turtle guy didn't save, lost him to the void. Hope you all had fun today. It was a good stream. Okay, let's go through them. Let's go through the submissions. I'm slow, so I gave up. That's fine. I'm still happy to see your submission here. It worked. Yeah, I know it usually does, especially if you've like saved once. It's very good at that. But you know what happened here? You got into Blender and you tried, and that is a big step. So I think you should give yourself a little pat on the back as well. That is not nothing. So good job on that. I'm proud. That is a very interesting looking turtle, and I do appreciate you following along today, so I think that's cool. And it is hard. It's not like it's super easy as well, right? So I think that's also like the same as the other thing, where, you know, getting into it is a big first step, and I think that's cool, and I'm happy you followed along. So you both get a little heart from me. Heart to you. Heart to you. And it looks like maybe like an axolot or like a little alien, which could be a cool twist. Little demon eyes on it. That's fun. Had to stop having fun and start reading homework for tomorrow. So this is how far I got. That is fair enough. I'm glad you followed along on the stream like the other people. You can only have fun on the stream though, so I'm not too happy about that. No, not fun allowed. You get a heart. It looks like little bear ears. So, pat on the back. Good job. Thank you for following along. I'm happy to see it. I love everybody's cursed turtles. That's the spirit. Get a little heart on that one too. But you got the flippers in there. You got the horns. You got all the parts. Now it's just the time to sort of move things around until it becomes a little bit less cursed. So I think that's cool. That's why you get a heart. Thank you for following along. Let's keep going. Has kind of a pig nose or a seal. Yeah, this kind of nose is sort of like very fat, and it can become like a bit of a pig nose very easily. But just like the other one, you got all the parts there. Now it's just the time to mash it all together. You got that nice line on the shell. I do like to see that. So good job on all that. A little pat on your back too. Thank you for following along. Gets a heart. Yeah, it's nice. And you got the gradient in there too. All of it could use a little bit of work, just like mine as well. My baby boy may be cursed, but he is mine. That is the right spirit. Okay, very nice. You got the little squares in there. It's actually actually cute. That's very nice. So good job on that. That's a pat on the back too. Bravo. Thank you for following along today. I hope you learned something as well. Catherine. He is not a newcomer to the stream. Catherine's been here for a while. Look at that. Very nice job, Catherine. He knows a thing or two. It's a very nice turtle, so good job on that, Catherine. I hope you learned something too, other than just flexing on us all. Good job on that. So you get a heart. Same as everybody else, getting into it is a big step, and I'm happy you followed along. Of course, things can use a little bit more work, but you got all the shapes in there. So I'm happy to see that. Now it's just about working it off stream, trying to get it to be real nice. And also getting the proportions as well. Good job on that. You can also pat yourself on the back. Clarissa, also not a newcomer to the stream. This is almost evil, guys. You're styling on everybody, including me. It's very beautiful. Very nice job. Of course it is. This is right up her alley, so I think that's super beautiful. Very nice. Like, you could see this in a mobile game, could you not? People, let's be honest. Could you not see this in a mobile game or something like that? It's so nice. Catherine, do this for fun. It's always very fun. I learn a lot. That's nice. This is very beautiful. I give this a big heart. It's nice. Nice. Got all the parts again. It's about working on the color, working on the shapes as well. So that's nice to see, Alex. I hope you have fun. I hope you learned something. You can get yourself a pat on the back too. It is adorable, yeah. I still don't know how to paint. Well, I would recommend after I turn off the stream, you'll be able to rewatch. Try to slow down the parts where I start to paint and you'll be able to get there as well, right? It's all about working on it off stream. You get most of the parts there. They have to be adjusted, of course, but that's fine. You're probably pretty new to the software, if I had to guess, and it's a big step to just get into it. Didn't get very far into painting. That's fine. You got time off stream, you got time tomorrow. That's for all of you all, by the way. Keep working on it if you want to, and post your results on the bootcamp chat, like tomorrow, day after. I'm always checking it, so I'll see that too. Good job on that. Clara, nice job on the turtle. You got all the parts. He looks a little bit old, doesn't he? Kind of in a cute way. Like, I mean, it's not meant as an insult. It's cute. Like, it's like a little bit of a grandma, like a grandma kind of turtle. I think it's like the wrinkles on the eyes or something like that. It's cute. It is cute. Of course, like everybody else, you can keep working on it. So, pat on the back to you as well. Nice job on it. Yeah, it looks like a grandma, exactly. In a cute way, though. It is adorable. He's straight chilling, yeah. Nice job on this one. Try to get the specs on the back. And what I see is that because your mesh is a little bit low poly, the specs are getting kind of, the quality or the detail is getting lost. So you could try to remesh with a little bit more density on it, and you should be able to paint a bit finer. But good job on the shapes here and the fins and all that. Benjamin Button Turtle. Okay, oh, so many submissions today, people. I'm happy to see it. Remy. Okay, this one is cute. It got the chubby cheeks and everything. It got the pattern on the back. Get a pat on your back too. Good job on that. I'm happy you followed along. I hope you learned something. Got all the parts there. I like the little cheeky smile on it. That is cute. You can keep working on that after stream too. I'd love to see an updated version on this. So good job on that. Yeah, Clarissa's was very nice. That looks fast. Like, this turtle is faster than all of her turtles. Like, it's aerodynamic. That's nice too. You got all the parts. Good job on that. It just looks a little bit fast. That's a style choice, you know? So good job on that. Pat yourself on the back too. It's all about getting into it. And I'd love to see an updated version on this too. You get a heart for that. Nice. And here's mine that got lost in the void. No. And there's so many submissions. Very nice, everybody. Got all the parts on this too. You got the paint job. Good job on it. Of course, you can work on it more. You got the rim on it. You get a heart from me. That's a charcoal. Hell yeah. Ooh, multiple views on this one. Fancy. Good job on it too. You got all the parts. You got the rim on there. Very nice. It's just about refining it, I guess. You could make it look like it's standing on the floor a little bit more, perhaps. The fins touch the ground. Good job on it, though. I want an updated version, just like everybody else. You get a heart. Trying to get the shapes with the grab tool. Ooh, you chose a different, like an infernal version. Cool. Trying to get the shapes with the grab brush, yeah. Getting the shapes can be like 90% of the work sometimes. Like, I see your shell shape is actually getting very nice. And the head too. It can be a lot of work just to get the base shape. So I applaud you for putting in the effort to get a real nice result in the end. Love to see an updated version, so nice job. Pat yourself on the back. My turtle. Nice, it looks like it's swimming actually a little bit. It kind of looks a little bit like, what's that turtle called from Nemo, you know? It's kind of got that attitude where it's hanging a little bit with the head, you know, it's chilling. This one is straight chilling. So good job on that. You got nice rim separation and all that, so pat yourself on the back. Of course, I want to see an updated version. Here goes my abomination. No, don't. Okay, I could be mean, but I'm just happy you all followed along, and I think it's nice that you got all the parts. I could be really crazy and say that it looks a little bit like Kermit. Does it not? A little bit. If you squint your eyes, you could see a little Kermit turtle a little bit. But I'm just happy that you followed along, you know? Don't have to be ashamed of it. I think it's nice. So good job on that. More submissions. Very nice. Got all the parts. I'm happy to see it. Grandma Turtle will bake you cookies and always gives you a $5 when you come visit. Yeah, just like my grandma. Go buy yourself a little bit of candy, she would say. Crush. Nice job. This one also looks a little bit fast. It's got the little indents for the pattern maybe or something like that. So good job on getting all the parts. I'm happy you followed along. I hope to see an update and all that. Oh, very nice. This one is in the works. I see that's a phone picture of the screen. Now if you go to view, you can click viewport render image and you get a lower image. You can use that next time. But I also do see that you got all the parts, so nice job on that. Happy to see it. Oh, there's a cute one here too. This one also has that chillern attitude. I like that. I like the rim, I like the textures, you got all the parts. That is definitely a pat on the back. Bravo, that looks very nice. Very nice, you even got the little specs on there. It's very nice. Get a heart for sure. Do you know Nomad Sculpting? Is it similar or good even? I haven't used it myself, but I do see people make good stuff. So it's great if you have an iPad and stuff like that. Okay, people. That was a cool stream. I'm happy to see a lot of you came. I'll say it before I forget it, but if you did enjoy today's stream, it would be very nice if you could also hit the like button, because you know, it's kind of like a school thing, so it's nice to know if people are enjoying it so we can keep doing it and all that. So if you did enjoy it, there's that option. Of course you don't have to, only if you did like it. I hope, most importantly of all, that you all learned something today and you got something out of it, because that's kind of the main goal. Next time we'll be doing modeling, so I'll be going into some other cool stuff in Blender. That's pretty much gonna be it for me for today. It was fun, I enjoyed it. I hope you all did as well. It'll be the same time next Wednesday, same time, same place. I hope to see all of you there. And during the week, I hope to see updates on your sculpts. I will check the chat. And you know, it's always fun to have a little bit of a community where you can sort of share your work, especially as a beginner. So if you haven't already, I do recommend joining the Discord. It is nice. People are very friendly. You can even ask for feedback and all that. Yeah, nice job, everybody. Of course, I'm happy you all enjoyed it. Alright, that's gonna be it for me. Have a good rest of your night, everybody. I'll see you, everybody, next time, hopefully. Goodbye.